Hey guys, to Drew22 here, and we have our next matchup. And folks, it's just gonna be it's just gonna be a straight up one-on-one match, but it will feature Lita, and up until now, she has kept her last name a secret, and I'm just gonna say this right now. She has revealed that her last name is Blanchimont. You know, her full name is Lita Blanchimont, and I will say that, you know, Lita has, it's been a while since Lita has been the women's champion, and the last time she was women's champion, well, it just turns out that this lady, Betty White, beat not only Lita but two other women to become the women's champion of the world. And I have to say that, you know, Betty White, you know, growing up, I knew her best as one of the Golden Girls, and, you know, my mom, she loves that show. I mean, she watched it when it first came out, and she still loves watching the reruns, and, you know, I just want to thank everybody, you know, especially some of my best friends on YouTube, to say, thank you for being a friend. No, seriously, thank you for being a friend, because, if it wasn't for you guys, I still would not be here. I would not be here, and I wouldn't be making these videos now. But, it's a great feeling nonetheless. Alright, we're ready. And of course, being that Lita is, you know, younger, or, yeah, being that Miss Blanchimont is younger and, you know, quicker than Betty White is, it goes without saying, really, because Betty White, you know, let's face it, Betty White is not exactly a spring chicken like she used to be, but that does not mean she won't quit. If anything, she has a lot of experience going up against a lot of women over the years, so I would have to think that Betty White would know what to do. A reverse DDT onto Miss Blanchimont, then a snapmare on the Blanchimont. All but Lita whips Betty White into the corner. And now what's Blanchimont going to set her up for, though? Uh-oh, wait a minute. Oh, and a suplex from off the top rope on to Betty White. Thrown over the top rope, and a suplex on a Betty White the hard way back in the ring. Ooh, and a clothesline right to Miss Blanchimont. I mean, Blanchimont, one thing she cannot do against Betty White is get careless, because over the years, Betty White is one to capitalize on one's mistakes, so that's one thing you don't want to do, is make a mistake against her. Because really, Alicia Fox, you know, she didn't make a mistake, if any, against Betty White, and that's why she is the women's champion. But, you know, but it's not easy to beat Betty White, so just keep that in mind. And an uppercut right to Miss Blanchimont. And a hammerlock on to Blanchimont. And another Hurricane Rana on to Betty White. I have to say, that last match was just amazing. It just goes to show the love that a man and a woman have, and the competitiveness that two teams of a man and a woman have. I mean, no one was beaten, like no one was pinned, nobody submitted. It just ended on a disqualification, and I'm happy that, you know, Kitty won her first match, but it would have been nice to have won decisively, but you got to get what you can. But meanwhile, a whip into the ropes. Nope. And a takedown onto Miss Blanchimont. Then a snapmare on a Blanchimont. And a Hurricane Rana on a Betty White. So far, Lita Blanchimont has done a number on Betty White, and now... Oh, come on. I mean, we just put that table up again, damn it. Oh, but Betty White, I should say, confronted her, and a snapmare on a Blanchimont on the floor. Both women are on the floor. And whipped into the ring is Betty White, and Betty White shoved her off. And whipped over the top rope is Betty White, and kicked on the floor is Betty White. Both women are on the floor, and what the hell was Lita doing? Okay, I couldn't see what happened because of the apron was in the way. Ooh, and a back elbow onto Blanchimont, and then a flying forearm right to Blanchimont. Thrown into the ring is Blanchimont, and now Betty White's just gonna choke her out. I mean, Betty White is just a living example of what happens when you mess with your elders. Sometimes they can fight back. In fact, I was watching videos on YouTube. It all started with the Epic Beard Man, and it ended with this one guy who actually beat the crap out of a teenager who was messing with the old man, and the old man just punched him in and just he knocked him out. Like, I mean, he knocked him out and put him to sleep is what he did. So kids, teenagers, you know, young people, don't mess with your elders, because sometimes they might actually fight back and kick your ass. So yeah, be nice to your elders, okay? I'm pretty cool with my old man. My father to Jew. As Betty White just executed a karate chop onto Blanchimont, or at least her head. Oh, but Blanchimont just shoves away Betty White. But you're gonna have to do more than that. You're gonna have to do more than shove Betty White if you're gonna hurt her. As Betty White just went for... Well, then she takes the head of Lita Blanchimont and just shoves it right into the ground, and... Uh-oh, wait a minute! Oh, it's called the Styles Clash. 1, 2, no. She calls that the Styles Clash. Does Betty White. And now what's Lita gonna set her up for? Another suplex from off the top rope on a Betty White. Thrown over the top rope again is Betty White. I tell you, Miss Blanchimont really wants to put away Betty White, and she's tried everything. Uh-oh, but I don't think she's tried the table yet. And now what's Blanchimont gonna do here? Lita, what are you doing? I tell you, Miss Kitty was right about you being strange. Oh, no! No! On a twist of fate onto Betty White. onto the table, and I think Betty White is done. I mean, Lita did everything to beat Betty White in the ring, but it was not enough, and unfortunately, Miss Blanchimont resorted to putting Betty White through a table and winning on a count out, and she does. So Lita Blanchimont has won against Betty White, but I have a feeling that Betty White but by the time she wakes up, she's going to want revenge against Lita Blanchimont. But I will say congratulations to Lita, but I have a feeling that it will not be the last of Betty White. I will assure you that. So, otherwise, congratulations. But we still got more matches yet to come. So, stay tuned. They will be coming up right after this. Alright. Peace out, everybody.